Savoy and I'm from Converse College. I'm trying to find the screen where of the other participants. Hang on a second. Just scroll, I guess. So we have Mark.
Mhm.
Um, just a second. I can't seem to find. Oh, gallery view. There we go.
There we go.
Hi. Sorry. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight, and thank you all for the opportunity. Like I said, I'm from Converse College. I'm from New York originally. Now I live in North Carolina, near enough to South Carolina, and I'm faculty with Converse this past year. So a little bit about me. I studied at the Juilliard School. Then I've had a career as an opera singer, lived in Europe, fest contracts, guest contracts, different competitions, sang at the Met, different opera houses, gosh, for the past 10 plus years, and recitals and whatnot. So, and now also teaching. So, so Mark, you're going to sing for us first. I have your music. Thank you so much. And tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, my name is Mark. I'm 18 years old. I'm a junior. I'm going to boarding school in Vermont. I'm applying to college next year. I'm a tenor. I'll be doing
Great.
with you at Lagrima.
Fantastic. All right, I've got the music here. Whenever you want to get started, let's just hit the road. Bravo! What a beautiful voice. That was wonderful. What space are you in, by the way? It's a totally random question. It's got great acoustics.
It's a it's an old theater at my school. It's just
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. It's like the ceiling looks great for singing. Fantastic job. Fantastic. Um, and I don't think I had you introduce this piece. Should have done that. It's pretty, doesn't need too much of an introduction. Um, but it's Una furtiva lagrima from Elixir of Love and character of Nemorino.
Mm.
Such a fantastic. Have you sung any other parts of the opera or
No, just this aria.
just this aria? So is this newer or is this something you've been working on for a while? It sounds really in your body. So
I learned this last June, so it's been a while. I've been working on other things, but I came back to this for this.
yeah, fantastic. So is this an aria you audition with often?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it really suits you. It's great. Um, I don't have too much to say because it was wonderful. We can talk about some vowels here and there. Basically, I think support and vowels go to hand in hand. Bright vowels off of the middle of the tongue ricochet off the hard palate and give us that ping in the voice, and the support feeds that vowel with airflow. I feel airflow solves everything. We always want to be airflow, not air pressure. So I guess what before we talk about vowels, tell me how you conceptualize or how you understand your support. Like what in your mind when we talk about support, since it's the name of the class. Let's start with that.
So how I've been you want with vowels. I've been working on this more recently, but you want to get the darkness and the timbre of your voice from your body and not how you shape your vowels. And then the chiaroscuro is um, singing like you speak, and then the I don't know. So
Yeah,
it's
no, it's perfect. I love that. I was literally just going to say that. That's sorry, I interrupted you. I was so fired up when you said singing great. um, continue. Sorry.
and then you should. This is something I just heard a couple weeks ago from my teacher, but it should feel like the darker side of your voice is like fighting your brighter side of the voice to get that air spin.
Because one informs the other. Chiaroscuro. To understand light, we have to know what darkness is, or a tone, a warmth, to understand, and vice versa. I love 100% what you said about speaking and singing,
Mm.
because I think a lot of times support, at least in the way that over the years of studying singing, it can kind of, there's this mystique about it and everybody has a different idea about it. But I really love to demystify support and really remind people that we all have had a diaphragm our whole life. It keeps us alive all day, all night. It's an involuntary muscle. We all have lungs, we have vocal cords, and we have brains, which I really think the brain is the instrument, right? The brain is sort of the central computer, sends all the signals, whether it's vowels, support, low engagement, airflow, pitches. Pitches are made in the brain, right? So we often hear, you hear the pitch before you sing it out loud. I mean, these aren't crazy things. So because the brain sends a signal to the vocal cords to stretch faster than we can calculate that, right? So it's all happening in the brain. But about what you said, 100% speech and singing, because well-produced speech and singing are not two completely different hats, right? So if I'm speaking on my breath and I have a low engagement, which stabilizes my posture. I'm a container of air. So Rossini used to say to his a container of compression of in your ribs. And how singing is about elongating the exhale, right? It's not about taking in gobs of air and then hoping to have enough for a long phrase. It's the coordinated exhale, the well coordinated exhale is how I like to describe it. And so much of the work that I do with my students and myself, and in the past, my professional work has been speech, speaking my foreign text on my breath,
Mm.
with the postural engagement, which really we're slowing down the diaphragm. It wants to up the Italians appoggiare, right? So we're sort of leaning against our diaphragm. We're using all the other parts of our body and our physiology that are attached to that diaphragm to manipulate it. So I like to start out with some simple song sentences that are spoken sentences that start on vowels. And that kind of helps me understand the deepest part of my support in the speech. And then I transfer that to the singing. So, um, and that's where the speech can really help the vowels, especially with a beautiful voice of size like yours. We always want to make sure. I heard a couple darkening of vowels in the middle voice. We want to be careful of that, especially because to keep the coordination top to bottom in the column of the voice, um, it needs to traverse over those pure vowels in the air, so the air doesn't get confused. And a lot of that sort of sympathetic resonance we feel in the mask, and I know sometimes different voice parts say they feel it differently. I mean, tenors I've heard a lot. Where do you feel kind of
I
resonance?
resonance. I generally feel it like here and like in my hands.
Really?
I've been working a lot on the Padro, and I've just kind of, I mean, up until probably 3 months ago, I really only sang out of my chest, and I just started to bring a bit more head voice into it.
Hmm.
I generally feel it like in my arms and my hands, and I feel like a little bit of quiver.
That yeah, it's so interesting because um, as soon as air is free,
Hmm.
we're like a human cello, right? It just vibrates everywhere, all over our sinuses, all over our arms, all over our. I tend to feel it in my rib cage, and then sometimes on my cheeks, and it's really different for everybody. Um, but that resonance and that tone that manifests is from that point of those pure vowels off the heart that are off the middle of the tongue, right off, aiming the air off the hard palate. And then the voice, I really do believe the voice just turns over naturally
Yeah.
if you maintain that low support. Pure vowels help you maintain the support. Support helps you keep those pure vowels. Yeah. So, can we start this one more time? And I'm not sure how this would work with the tape. Do you just want to sing it a cappella, like the first couple measures?
That's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so we can kind of find a bit more brighter vowel, and have the sense. I would love a little, maybe we can experiment with a little more spin ahead of each note. So like the air has to be sent ahead of the pitch we're about to sing. And that's a mental conception of, faster air in and up and out of our body from our lowest center of support. I like to think of it as like an inverted triangle, sort of down here. No higher. I say no north, no more north than the belly button. So,
All right. So there's that little pop when you start the note.
uh-huh.
So you want me to start on the una fortiva?
Yeah, start right on the una.
Oh, oh, furtiva lagrima.
Great, great. That was beautiful. Can you speak for me this on your song support with tad brighter vowels?
Una furtiva lagrima.
Una furtiva lagrima.
Una furtiva lagrima.
Yeah, so I always find the ahs were in English we like to kind of swallow them a bit more. Um, and then the Italian ah is really bright, more than we're used to in English. Sometimes I even think of the word cat to kind of overcorrect a dark ah. Because really the bright ah in Italian, like mamma, just say the word, hang tight with me. It's say cat for me. Say the word cat.
Yeah.
Cat. So mamma.
Mamma.
Yes, it's a bit brighter. And in English, we're not quite used to it being that bright. We use that part of our tongue, the middle part of our tongue, in English, but not as regularly as Italians, right? So it's literally a discipline of the tongue. And while we're talking about the tongue and vowels for just a minute, um, So the tongue is the nexus of a lot of different muscles, right? And it's kind of like tongue multitasking. So a lot of times, I think we get the tongue is another one of the things that we get confused about, or people kind of get overwhelmed by. The tip of the tongue is one of our articulators. The middle of the tongue is right behind the tip. It's not on the back of the tongue. And so sometimes when vowels get too dark, they're actually sitting in the back of the tongue and it's grabbing the back of the tongue. We want to find the actual middle of the tongue. And in English, like I said, that's a tad more forward on the tongue than we're used to. So say the word cat one more time. Say mama,
Mamma,
una.
una.
Yeah, much better. Do you feel that?
Yeah, una. Yeah.
Yeah, una furtiva. All the odds have to match. Una furtiva lagrima.
Una fortiva lagrima.
Yeah, good. Now, what note is this here? Ooh, I'm singing my octave will sound kind of funny. Ooh. So it's a bit brighter instead of lagrima, lagrima. Just it, and it's just the thought, the thought. Try it one more time.
Una fortiva lagrima.
Much better, much better. How did that feel?
It just felt like there was a bit like it was, my mouth was a bit wider on the O's. Like right.
Wider on the outside. Yeah, I can't quite see the shape of your mouth when you stand that far away from the camera.
Lagrima.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that's too wide. I would say like maybe if it's you don't need to open up super much, or over much rather. It's inside on the middle of the tongue. So yeah, exactly right. Let's try that one more time and keep going now. Um, and I think it very important is when you maintain that support in a descending line, especially with repeated notes, to keep re-engaging that low support. Essentially, we're talking about these muscles, whether you're doing like the way I understand it and teach it is whether you're at the gym and it's like a gym squat, or it's like everybody feels it differently. When you're about to sit down in a chair, they're the muscles that catch your balance. I like to think of it as hip to hip. And so here's that triangle, and it's really like I just felt it when I sat down. But we never want to grab. Essentially, what I'm saying is we've got a wide rib cage. We breathe in, down, and out. I call it like a Christmas tree breath, and then feel like every phrase starts not where the vowels are, but from this muscle contraction here, deep inside. A lot of people think different images. Some people like to think of a toothpaste tube, squeezing the bottom of a toothpaste tube. Some people like to think of a trampoline. I don't know if you have a specific image that works for you.
Oh, I just normally think like whatever I have to do in my stomach to get my chest move up, that's what I do.
Okay, cool. See, this is why I mean everybody is different. No one torso is the same. Main thing is we don't want to be grabbing up here, which is where our diaphragm is in our rib cage. Yeah. So um, let's start it one more time. So here you got your pitch. There's the F.
Una fortiva lagrima. Non io suoi sfondo.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right. Another thing, keep that support engaged in the rests, okay? Hip to hip, so that when we don't always have, I know stylistically we can have portamenti. I'm not saying to take that away. We want to have a sense that the air is already moving and we're hopping on. Like a water slide, those parks you go to, and the water's already going down the slide. You just kind of take your mat, yes, and you join it. So in other words, the air is spinning in the room and then I'm joining it instead of having to start the air with any kind of muscle grip in my throat or the back of the tongue becoming overly involved in the vowel. So, ooh. Again, it sounds very strange in my soprano register. But you have that, you want to have a sense that you're suspended, kind of like a flying magic carpet or something. All right. Can you take it just for, I guess take it from the beginning. Oh, hang on, I have a chat message. I think someone else would like to sing. Yay. Yana, is that how you pronounce that?
It's actually Jana.
Jana. Okay. So Mark and I will finish, and then you and I can work a little bit. Awesome. All right. Okay, let's start this one more time. Same thing with the initial entrance too. Let's have that support engaged and air ahead of the note. Horse before the cart. I like to think of, I had another image too. I saw, a lady out walking her dog. And sometimes when you're walking the dog and then the dog's walking you, she was like, we don't want the breath to be, we don't want to be chasing after our breath. We're the boss and the instrument is in the brain. So, right, go ahead. So keep the support as you go down. Very important. Support is always support. It doesn't follow the pitch, right? It doesn't become lax and sort of less intense as the line goes down and descends in pitch. And it also doesn't go higher up in the body, right? As the pitch goes up. That was absolutely fantastic. How did that feel to you?
It felt kind of airier. like I was
Airier. So like suspended or just the spin was so much faster. And again, understand that is a mental directive that then stimulates a response in my body. I can never say, oh, no, I'm doing something with my body. It's all in your mind. No, it is. So keep with the pure vowels. I think this art is great for you. I think you have an absolutely beautiful voice. And, best of luck. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions.
okay. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions now before we swap over or?
One thing. I've been working on the I vowel, or not the I, E.
Yeah.
I find, especially if I'm singing heavier repertoire than Una Furtiva Lagrima, especially like a Puccini, right? It always, the E's stand out because if I go forward and nasal or more masculine, E, like it sounds significantly different than the other vowels. And then if I go full, like E, like I've been trying to find like a happy medium in between the two.
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you said this, and I'm probably going to talk about it with the next singer as well. So we'll just talk about it now. Get yourself some coffee stirrers. I know this is crazy. So the E vowel is, we're singing all the other vowels in the place of E on the middle of the tongue. So these are little coffee stirrers, wooden, whatever. Literally take this coffee stirrer. I wish I could give you one, but I usually like bring handfuls. You can also take your pinky finger and put it behind the bottom teeth. So the tongue's like slightly retracted, and then you'll be able to find the middle. But with the stick, because so often what I said before is we put the E on the back of the tongue and we think as English speakers, because we speak so gutturally, that that's the middle of the tongue. It's actually the back of the tongue. So, and I just do some sirens on E vowels. Yeah, because the tongue tip wants to come forward. This keeps it back just enough. And I know the middle is. That's not attractive, but yeah. E. What's that?
To bring your tongue forward on the E.
No, you don't want to bring your tongue forward. You want to keep it from the tongue tip coming down to touch the bottom teeth. Yeah. E.
Hey!
Yeah, that's the middle. We don't want to modify a vowel. It's going to modify itself above the staff, and everybody's different. We can talk about vowel modifications, but on the staff, middle voice, you want to find your purest E. E-O, so that every vowel switch is right in the middle of the tongue instead of the tongue pumping up and down for different vowels.
Okay.
That confuses the air. So,
So cough.
um,
Don't move your tongue when you sing E in the E-A-O.
yeah, easy. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
try.
What's that?
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Yeah, once you get the E, spend like a good week and just really listen to yourself singing an eval. One last thing, and then we'll move on. So here's a 5-note scale. Here is, I always never know. Should I do the correct version or the wrong version first? So, E, that's a really swallowed. E, the middle of my tongue is just, boop, it's up. So and then it bounces right off the hard palate with my airflow. But if I start to modify vowels in the middle voice, I get sort of this, especially larger voices, because we have more tone to sort of allow to manifest. We don't want to carry our tone with the pitch. It'll just go at a certain point. We don't want that. Yeah, exactly. We want to sing any repertoire, especially when we start talking about larger repertoire, thicker orchestration, longer phrases, always with the most, I don't want to use the word skinny or slim. That's not what I mean, but efficient sound that's not pushed or pressured. And what's that?
Sound the same if you're singing light stuff too. Like
Yes.
I know my problem was I was always singing heaviest stuff, like way too heavy, and I was singing light stuff way too light. And when you start singing everything the same, it just got easier.
That's it, because your instrument is your instrument. You never want to jam your instrument to fit whatever's going on. So yeah, fantastic work.
Thank you.
And best of luck. All right. So it's Jana, right?
Yes, Jana Harmon, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you'd like to sing.
So I'm 16 years old. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and I like, I don't know, I started singing classically for about 3 years, so I'm sort of finding what I like right now, but I like a lot of Bellini so far.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
But today I will be singing Feet of Jesus by Florence Price.
Great.
Okay, sweet. At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, sorrow like a sea, Lord, in your mercy, come drifting down on me. Drifting down on me, drifting down on me. Oh Lord, in your mercy, come drifting down, come drifting down on me. At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at your feet I stand, oh my little Jesus, please reach out your hand. Please reach out your hand. Please reach
Oh my goodness, that was wonderful, beautiful. And I don't know that piece. That's so beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Wow. So can you tell me again the name and the composer?
Yes, it's called Feet of Jesus by Florence B. Price.
Florence B. Price.
Mhm.
What are the dates?
Oh, yikes. It's probably maybe around the 50s or 60s. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, I love it. I'm just, yeah, I've got goosebumps. Loved it. I'll have to look it up.
Yes.
What a beautiful voice. Just
Yes,
splendid, splendid. You 16, you said?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm guessing soprano.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so I would love to work on, I love the way that you're just sort of effortlessly arriving at those notes out of the ether and at the higher tones. Let's work on, as we descend into the middle voice, keeping the same support, because
Mhm.
I kind of lose the presence of the instrument a bit.
Okay.
Um, and I understand that's just a mental concentration thing.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah. And so actually, while we're talking about support and all this, how in your mind do you understand your instrument in that way?
Sure. I always try to take a deep. I've on this piece specifically. I've been trying to take a good deep breath, like a measure before I start singing when I can.
Hmm.
Um, I try to think. I didn't do it too well this past time, but think or take a bigger breath before those higher notes, um, and sort of have steady breath throughout the whole phrase, and not just like my teacher tells me I kind of like go in and out with support, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it makes, I heard it a bit. I think it just has to do with understand that it's the same support mechanism making all the pitches.
mhm,
It's not a different, it's an intensification. It's really like in my opinion, like a deep muscle contraction in a way, or a flexing of these low abdominal muscles. Like I say, like hip to hip. A lot of people feel them differently. But I like to work on things like hisses. Um, do that for me really quick before we actually start this again. Take a breath through your nose. Again, think in, down, and out, and then just out on a hiss like this. So with a little TS in front of it.
okay.
And just notice what your body's doing. Go ahead. Yeah, so keep it going. See how long you can keep it going. Yeah. So that's your song phrase, understand.
Mhm,
Remember we talked about, I don't know if you had when you joined the room, but singing is about coordinating your exhale.
mhm,
That's all it is. It's not about taking in a huge amount of air. It's about how we're utilizing all these muscles, intercostal muscles in the rib cage to hold them open, rear and side, as well as the stabilizing low pelvic floor muscles that help keep that rib cage open and allow us to manipulate the diaphragm. Because we can't get into that diaphragm and say, now I'm going to use my diaphragm to do this, because it's involuntary and it doesn't have a whole lot, if any, nerve endings. So, we, you know, when people say low breath, I think often they mean they feel the diaphragm contract down, pulling air into the lungs and kind of displace. It's kind of gross, like displacing the rest of your body below, because the diaphragm, physiologically, it separates respiration, right, breathing systems from digestion. So, um, you know, you're literally kind of feeling your diaphragm displace things, and those ribs expand to allow for that um kind of barrel like inner tube feeling. And we never want to have those ribs collapse, but we want to have that, we want to slow the ascent of the diaphragm down before it takes its next breath. So it's very miraculous to me that we can do this without fainting. But we use our diaphragm very primally from the moment we're born. It's where babies cry from. It's where we, uh, we if you cry, it's where people cry from, not just babies. And shouting, sort of public speaking. Like, hey, and a lot of sometimes in the lessons I like to do some like jungle animal noises, like monkey noises, and it's just fun, and it shows you that you have this capability to use the diaphragm in this way, to manipulate the diaphragm. All that to say, take one more breath in and out on a hiss, and see how long you can keep the hiss going with your ribs wide.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I like to say, that's longer than any song phrase you'll have to sing. Congratulations. I do more things with my students too, to kind of externalize the breath, because we can't see the air, right? So if you've ever worked with like a small cup, like a Dixie cup, with a little bit of water and a straw, and you can blow bubbles into the water, or blow air and make bubbles, and then kind of feel your ribs wide, keeping a steady airflow and a steady roll of bubbles, it means your exhale is leaving your body nice and even. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do. We just want to have an even exhale without too much pressure. And how we pace that out is keeping our ribs wide and staying engaged low. And the air is already leaving the body. We just want to provide an open instrument. Yeah, because our posture is, to me, posture is 95% of support, because if we're, how we're standing is going to confuse the diaphragm or help it. Where the breath goes, it's kind of like when a hose is all twisted up and the water can't come out. You open those up and it goes whoosh, goes straight through. All right, let's start this one more time.
Okay, sweet.
And let me ask you too, because I don't have the music, what pitch are you starting on?
I am starting on a G sharp.
So in the middle voice. Okay, great.
Do you want me to use the track or just sing a cappella?
Sing a cappella. Because we're gonna stop and start. Mm-hmm.
At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus.
Okay, good. Let's take that much. Great. That's the start pitch. So already, descending fifth. Same support that you have on the G sharp or the C sharp.
Okay.
And here we're going to do something. Speak. Remember, we were talking about singing and speaking are not very different. Right. It's a deeper, more intense use of the mechanism when we sing, but it's the same alignment and the same parts at play, if that makes sense. Say for me the first line, just speaking.
At the feet of Jesus.
Good. So let's not have it trail off in Jesus' name. I did not mean that. On Jesus' name. That was funny. So how you speak it will be how you sing it. You're training your brain to breathe for and exhale for the phrase. So if I say, at the feet of Jesus, my ribs are open. I'm not stopping the sound by closing down my throat. Now here's at the feet of Jesus. Kind of drops down. I let the support go. Speak it one more time.
At the feet of Jesus.
Yes, very good. Very good. So I guess you repeat that twice. At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus. Yeah. All right. Now I want you to sing at all those notes on the G sharp. At the feet of Jesus.
At the feet of Jesus.
Now sing the actual pitches.
At the feet of Jesus.
Great. How'd that feel?
Yeah, I felt easy. The lower note felt easier.
Because you kept the support engaged. A lot of times we feel like when it goes down unconsciously, understand this is all unconscious. When the descending line happens, we kind of feel like, whoa, it's somewhere down there. Maybe that note is somewhere down there, or where is it? You know, where the support is. It's actually not. The voice, just like the support, is here. Let me back up here. I don't know if you can see me. Got our posture here. Support is support. The voice will turn over and turn down into chest register or up out of that second passaggio up there. If we maintain the support, the voice will turn over by itself. So, at the feet of Jesus, at the feet. I don't know the pitches, but the starting every phrase, no matter if it's a high pitch, which was fantastic, you started it nice and low in your body. A lot of people sometimes start higher up in the body for a higher pitch unconsciously. Every pitch originates, it's like a geyser, okay, out of the ground, deep down. Oh, you can't see me. So it's like deep down, out of the ground. There's flow up and out of a baseline, out of the ground, okay? And it's constant in one direction, in and up and out. The air flows in, up, out from an engagement here. Understand there's no air here. Right? But it's grounding the posture, tilting the pelvis slightly forward, gives us access to side ribs and rear ribs. I like to call them like the flank ribs, kind of like where like kidneys are above our hips. So we have this rib cage. We have these muscles engaged, kind of like a rolling pin. Sometimes I like to think of it, hip to hip, very deep. And that is engaging our body as such that our rib cage can stay open and the diaphragm can do its thing, but slower. So let's what time need to keep in mind? Okay, we have plenty of time. Great. Is this the only piece you wanted to sing?
It's the only place I plan to sing.
That's fine. That's fine. I just didn't know if you had other things. We can keep working on this. Start it one more time.
At the feet of Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, Kira.
Sorry.
That's okay.
At the feet of Jesus. At the feet.
So right there. Now, a great exercise is kind of like we did. We repeated all the notes or all the words on that one note. If you find that you're kind of losing your support, you're bottoming out, you just have to train your brain. It's the same in the note, on the way to the next note, and through the next note, which is why I'm working on a lot of spoken sentences with a very monotone speech that's very free and flowing, can give our unconscious brain a sense of what it feels like for air to leave the body without pressure.
Okay.
With the ribs open and all that. So, at the feet of, how high does that phrase go there?
It goes to a C sharp.
Right there? Yeah. Start it one more time.
Okay. At the feet.
So let's get that support engaged before the very first note, so that there's already you have a beautiful vibrato. Let's get it spinning, like before we hear the air, before we hear one note out of your mouth. Let's have the air already like, not percolating. What's the word I'm looking for? Just sparkling, I guess. Okay. Spinning. Okay.
At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at the feet.
Instead of the word and the vowel kind of going down somewhere to try to find the pitch.
Okay.
At the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus. And so on the second syllable of the name Jesus, kind of keep the support under that. Jesus, because the air is feeding that syllable instead of the back of the tongue trying to come up to find or pump up and down to find a lower high pitch.
So from the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning again. Yeah. There's a lot to be learned on one phrase. We could like spend a day on one phrase.
At the feet Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, at the feet of Jesus, sorrow like a sea. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. That was great.
Lord, down on me.
Okay, perfect example. The support that you have on whatever the pitches are, same support mechanism. Don't let it go. I hear it kind of leaving the body and kind of getting losing its active engagement.
Okay.
One of the best things that you can do to show yourself the support in action, and that it's totally not something that is so far beyond what we already do, humming. Humming is one of the best things for like on the staff, middle voice to the top of the staff. Now, when we talk about going like high A's, and I don't want you to hum above the staff. That's like, we don't want to create any tension by trying to hum over the staff. But if you need to find it, basically what I'm trying to say is the support in the middle voice and in the chest voice can kind of be like, it's a false friend. We think we know. In that sense, it is related to speaking, but when we sing, sometimes we let it go. We have to keep it engaged as we do under the higher pitches as well. It's like it's locked and loaded for a longer phrase, so to speak. And humming can kind of show us how that can stay in perpetual motion. So do a favor for me, hum the first phrase of this one more time. Just I want you to feel the buzz on the upper lip when you hum. And that's going to give you nice feedback for a couple things. My ribs are wide, airflow is flowing, and I'm getting like a sympathetic buzz and a resonance here.
Okay.
Right? Yes, ma'am, already. I know that because what we're doing is like when we use our airflow from the bottom of the pelvic floor up and out, air leaves the lungs, bounces off whatever shape we're making on the middle of the tongue, bops on the hard palate, turns over into the soft palate when it needs to. We want to humming. What am I trying to say? Humming helps us keep the support on a descent, on an ascent. We don't feel like they're in different locations.
Okay.
Present.
Okay.
Try one more time, humming. Nice. How did that feel?
Yeah, I definitely felt like you were saying like the notes aren't as far away as they feel like when you hum.
Yeah, and then we have this no, I wouldn't say unfortunate, but music is notated on a staff, and sometimes the notes look really far away from each other. So I think visually, sometimes singers, I'm a visual learner, so I kind of see that. And for many years, I would think, oh my goodness, I have to move my larynx up and down. Pitch is not a location.
Okay, right.
Pitch is a frequency, right?
Okay.
Fast air, faster frequency, higher note. Slower frequency, lower note. That's it.
Okay.
Air is meeting the chords, and the speed of the air is stretching them, bad pun, accordingly. So humming can always show you how to stay actively engaged without holding, because you can, if I hum, look at hip to hip, I'm engaged here, I'm not tight up here.
Right.
This should feel like a buoyant balloon if my ribs are open. Muscle isolation, right? Just like the tongue, there's different things happening. The humming is the shortest distance between 2 points to see where I'm actively engaged and where it's not held. So now do for me, the next step would be me, 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 because your vowel is right behind the M. Okay, try that. Same thing for That's another exercise for our fellow Mark who sang Una Furtiva, humming with an M and the E right behind, like opening and closing with the M. Super helpful to understand where that eval is and keep the support nice and even with no extra pressure. Because when we add pressure to the voice, that's because somewhere deep down low, it came unattached a bit. So I just wanted to share that too for you, Mark. All right, sorry, Jenna. Me. I think we have a couple more minutes. We'll do this on me, just the first couple bars, and then we'll have you ask some questions if you want to. Mm-hmm.
Me, 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 me,
Fantastic. I love that. Repeat that pure vowel.
Sweet.
It's going to train the support to stay. Now just sing the first phrase with the words, and then we'll wrap up with that.
Adolfino, Jesus. Adolfino, Jesus.
Good. So the very first three notes. Me, Adonai. Off my hard palate, even though it's a low note. Same way it's produced. Try that. Adonai. Yes, you don't need to drop the vowel to find a low pitch.
Wait, okay. Yeah.
Yay, good job.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful voice, and best of luck.
Thank you.
And does anybody have any questions? I think we have a couple minutes.
I think I actually have a question. I'm like pretty young. Is there anything you think that I should be doing, in preparation for college or just like the future in general as a young singer?
Absolutely. Fantastic question. 100%. I would say, and you said you like Bellini, I would spend a good amount of time studying the 24 Italian songs and arias. I don't know if you have already. I know everybody has their own opinions about the 24 Italian songs and arias. They teach you how to sing. And here's why. Not just because of Italian being the least confusing of syllables, like adding German and French and all that. A, E, O, U, 5 pure vowels, start in Italian. They follow you through the other languages. It establishes an understanding of consistent low support with a pure vowel and airflow over that vowel. And in a range, specifically, I don't know if I have it on me, the medium high keys, the purple, there's the Peyton edition. And then there's the Schirmer edition, slightly different accompaniments. The Peyton is more, researched. I don't use, actually, it is, not air quotes, but it's more researched. And I would say go through those on evals, hums, and it's going to train you middle voice to the top of the staff mostly. And that's sort of like first passaggio out of the chest voice into the middle voice and into the passaggio on the top of the staff without having to go too far over the staff. Because especially with female voices, all voices, I like to really, I think it's important to build them from the middle out. You build the middle voice on pure vowels, and then the voice will turn out of that in either direction. And really spend some time on learning Italian, and any foreign language, immersing yourself in that kind of study. So yeah. Mark? Absolutely.
I got 2 questions.
Yeah.
You said you were a dramatic soprano, right?
That's where I'm tending. Yeah. So
I'm wondering how would you handle for like a bigger voice, like picking. Well, I mean, sorry. How would you handle picking pieces that you would do for college applications or repertoire?
yeah, that's a bit of a longer question. You've got my email, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I would say if you want to reach out, you can ask me about that. But in general, for college auditions, I would really stick to something like Una Furtiva. I know sometimes you can use art songs. There's a lot of with big repertoire. Once you put it out there,
Yeah.
can't really take it back. So you want to be strategic with that. And even for you said you're 18. I would say the long distance race with the big voices. You probably like I would say maybe after like a master's program or something like that in general. Not every voice is different. I should say that caveat. But there's so much repertoire you don't want to miss along the way. So Mozart, um, some more Donizetti, you know, different things. If you're singing Una Furtiva, I'd have to kind of look at my rep book. But yeah, you just don't want to go too big too soon. And like you said, whatever you choose, I think a lot of the either arias from Idomeneo or Così would be a great fit for you as well. So yeah,
Okay. And
short answer.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, send
my
me an email. Send me an
my
email.
second is I haven't I've sang in Italian and German. I haven't started singing in French. Should I do that before I apply to college?
It
Like
depends on the
learn?
requirements for the colleges, I guess you're applying to, but couldn't wouldn't hurt, I
Oh,
think, you know, but if it's definitely got some more involved consonants and more vowels because nasals are vowels. So um couldn't hurt, but I'd say a lot you can probably audition with for a lot of places with Italian, German, and English. So yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you guys. That was fun.
Wonderful. That was great, you guys. Absolutely amazing. I can't believe you guys are like so young. The talent is immense, and you
It's
guys did some
incredible.
great jobs. If we have no other questions, thank you, Phoenix Boo. Phoenix Boo is clapping you guys. We would love to thank Miss Savoy for all of her great work, and thank you, singers, for joining us.
Yes, thank
And I
you.
hope everyone had a great time. I certainly did. I made notes.
Oh, good.
So I sure did. So if that's everything, then I thank everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again back here for our next sessions.
Hey, have a great night, everybody, and best
Enjoy.
wishes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.